Hello, this is Rosalind Brown of Your Wealth Guidance. Wanted to introduce another segment of what we provide and what we do. It is our reading corner. And I'll tell you, just for me personally, reading has one, not only helped me learn and see so many things outside of what I knew existed, but it's also allowed me to connect with a number of different people and experiences. So I really enjoy reading. It's one of my things that I do on my off time. I have actually started to incorporate it as a part of my day because I do find that it helps me in terms of just managing stress and putting life back into perspective. And so the book that I just most recently finished reading is called Forget a Mentor, Find a Sponsor. The book is written by Sylvia and Hewlett. And I want to let you know one thing too. I have stacks and stacks of books. I'm trying to get rid of a number of books. And so one thing I want to do is incorporate again is if you've read the book, like the book, or interested in the book, comment. Once we hit 50 comments, I'll pick someone and I will send you the book, no cost. Just I'll message you, send me your address, and I will send you the book so you can read and enjoy and get something from it as well. And so I'll tell you a little bit about what I thought. I thought this was a great book about a woman's journey through corporate America, but also really observations of different people as they maneuver corporate America. And even if you're not in corporate America, she definitely talks about like some academia and so forth. And it's really one of those things where oftentimes the message of working hard and the expectation is if I work hard, I'll be rewarded. People will see it and appreciate it. But the longer you start working, I think eventually you kind of turn that corner when you start your career and you realize hard work isn't always rewarded, or the hardest worker, or staying later, or going above and beyond. And you see other people maybe progress in their career, and you're like, they don't even do as much as I do. Or I'm the one who led that project. I'm the one that was the reason for this success. And you may actually start to get discouraged. And understanding this difference, because especially when I think back in my early career, my 20s and so forth, and just maneuvering corporate America and signing up for all these mentorship programs. And the mentor programs were nice enough to say, you know, where you want to be in your career? Oh, you should plot this out. You should do this. But really and truly, having a mentor that doesn't have the power, the influence to actually move your career makes a difference. And I remember earlier on in my career where someone said, hey, I signed you up, or I put your name on the list, or I think you should, or I've had this conversation about this job opportunity. They're going to give you a call to talk about it. I wish I understood more at that point of the value of taking that small situation, that small occurrence, and projecting that into more of a sponsorship type relationship. And so it was one of those where I'd been seen and someone acknowledged and saw my hard work, and maybe they weren't giving me the same kind of monthly or bi-weekly chat that a mentor would, but they were actually in a sponsorship situation, and I didn't understand how to truly take that and then make it something great, and understanding the reciprocal nature of a sponsorship relationship as well. And so definitely, if you have some people, they're early in their career, they're just getting started, take a look, take a read through the book, because those are some of those things earlier in your career where you're like, oh my goodness, this person, they saw me, they saw that I'm doing something great. Not only did they see me, they took an action from that, and they recommended me for a project, they recommended me for an opportunity, and to hone in on that and make it something even bigger, and to understand what that relationship looks like, because it may not be someone that you have coffee with regularly, or someone that you kind of have that connection with, but it's definitely someone who could truly help your career. And I think sometimes it's just hard to see it if you don't know it. And so many people, especially in my circle, we're the first generation. It's not like our parents came from wealth and we're then, picking up the phone and we understand how to network and maneuver all these different connections. And so, really, just to understand how to get the most out of that and be authentic in that space as we're doing it. And so, I think that's a pretty big deal. But also, as I was reading through the book, as much as I saw it as great information and a great opportunity to do more and to hone in and to move through as you're building and growing in your career, the second thing I thought about is how damn exhausting it is. So, if you are a minority in corporate America, you're a woman of color, you're a man of color. And so, when they talk a little bit about sponsors and who people kind of quickly and easily gravitate towards, oftentimes it's going to be those people that they have a connection with or they see themselves in. And so, if we look at the top and the most powerful of most organizations, they don't look like me. I don't know. Maybe they look like you. But as we look through that, and so, if it's easy to gravitate towards those in which they have most in common with, they can see themselves in, if you are on the outskirts of that and having to be authentic with yourself, but blend in, but not too authentic with yourself, that kind of always being in some perfect balance can truly be exhausting. And so, if you're on that outskirts and you're trying to maneuver through this space and you want to be, I mean, I'm going to speak in my situation, Black, but not too Black, a woman, but not too much. And so, all of the negative kind of perceptions about who you have to constantly be cognizant that you are not then making those things seen in your everyday action. And so, how exhausting is that? So, when you think about statistics about the number of Black women, especially starting businesses and creating businesses, I think about how exhausting in the corporate space of working so hard and then being overlooked. Does it make sense just to do it on your own? And so, especially if you add in having a family and having children, and so many of these events are bring your family and bring your kids, and you got to have kind of the pep talk with them as well so that they are authentic, but not too authentic in these kind of networking spaces. And especially today, where so much of the world is on a constant, you have to be seen. And what I mean by that is oftentimes we have a meeting or two, and that meeting may simply be, a quick phone call, a conference call, and you may be on there and you have to check your tone, but not your face as much. And goodness gracious, now you don't even have that because you're constantly on some recorded video conference and so forth. And there's very little transition. And the day goes on and on and on where you're kind of wearing, I don't want to necessarily say a mask per se, but you are always on alert of how you are perceived and you're being authentic, but not over the top. And so, even as I saw this book as a great, if you're in that space and you want to move up and that's your journey, I think the good thing too is understanding what will be required so you can decide if it even fits. I had a great conversation with someone who love and dear to me and I've known forever. And they talked about the inability to go back into a workforce of having kind of that constant tug of fitting in order to be successful. And so I think it's great because whatever path you choose, I'm a big proponent of whatever path you choose, you want to have a great plan and you want to be prepared for it and have the team and the structure. And so if you're going to be in that workforce, this is a great book for you. I love that she also addresses, even if you're a business owner, you want to have that kind of network and that support system and maybe the sponsorship as your business continues to grow and evolve. But it does allow some freedom and perspective to understand what those relationships look like if they're going to be reciprocal in order to be successful and understanding how to get the most out of them. And so if you've read the book, Let me tell you what, tell me what you think. If you loved it, hated it, if you're like, goodness gracious, I've never thought about the difference between a sponsor and a mentor, definitely do a quick Google search, see what it means. But definitely, if you comment, you'll be in the running. So I will actually send you over the book as well, because I want more people to understand these kind of social relationships that can also have a very big impact on your overall corporate or personal success. And so sometimes if we're first generation, we're maneuvering these things on our own. And so it's great to read a book about kind of how someone else figured it out. And this life is not long enough to make all the mistakes on our own. We're going to have to learn from some other people's. So, thank you for sharing the experiences in this book about some people's corporate mistakes so we can read, learn, hopefully not kind of step on those same landmines. So, drop a comment, subscribe to the channel, and let me know what you think about this book or where you are in building those mentorship and sponsorship type relationships. Again, this is Rosalind Brown with Your Wealth Guidance. Thank you so much for joining me today.